Welcome, Soul family, to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. I am Max Soul.
And I'm Mello Soul. Together we are Soul of the New Vibe.
Woo-hoo.
And we're absolutely thrilled you're joining us today.
Yes.
This isn't just a podcast. It's an educational journey, a rhythmic excavation into the very foundations of the music we love.
And we do love it.
Oh, yeah. And more importantly, the music we and artists like us are striving to create today.
That is so right, Mello. Today, we're not going to just reminisce about history. We're here to learn from it, to extract the profound lessons from the true architects who actually laid the bricks, poured the concrete, and really wired the circuits of soul music. Wow, what a formula.
Yeah.
These were the visionaries who built not just hit records, but entire cultural movements.
Yes, Max. Think about it. Every groove, every heartfelt lyric, every raw vocal, every innovative production technique we hear.
That's a lot.
Contemporary music, yeah. It all has roots in the fearless experimentation and unyielding passion of these pioneers.
And isn't that the cool thing that we've been going through as we go through this show?
Yeah. These are the unsung heroes, the astute business minds, the sonic innovators behind the scenes whose wisdom and approach still resonate in every note and every lyric.
Oh, exactly, Mello. I mean, so get ready to discover the timeless lessons gleaned from the past of these giants. Come along with us. It's talking about those deep insights from the past and using them as fuel to ignite the future of soul music or anybody else's music. This isn't just for us in Soul and the New Vibe, but for all of our fellow artists out there who are navigating the evolving landscape of music creation in today's new world. And how do we honor the past while boldly stepping into the future? Well, that's what this show is about and what we aim to uncover. Oh, and speaking of uncovering, we now are going to be dropping the podcast on Mondays.
Right. Well, from now on, it'll be every Monday instead of every Friday.
Yeah, we're going to give you the weekend off.
Yes. And so right now, we're going to take a little break, though.
So you're listening to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul, and today we are talking the Atlantic Records machine.
We'll be right back.
Hey, welcome back, Soul fam. Before we dive any deeper, just a quick shout out. If you're enjoying this content, please take a moment to give us a like and hit that subscribe button wherever you're listening or watching.
It's if you are picking up what we're putting down.
That's right, if you're getting what we're saying.
That's right, fam. Now, there's a video content version of each podcast on our YouTube page.
Right.
As well as the regular RSS feed if you feel like watching and not just listening. So
yeah, you could just give us a watch,
yeah,
right?
Give us a look.
Yeah, support helps us immensely and truly keeps our soul fire burning.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, Max, let's dig deep.
Yep.
If we're speaking of foundational fires, when we talk about the architecture of soul, then I mean smoldering, Max.
Ooh.
We have to start with the deep dive.
Smolder.
Yeah, we got to start with a deep dive on Atlantic Records.
Well, it wasn't just a label, right?
It really wasn't. It was a crucible.
There's
that
that
word
word.
again. The crucible. It was another crucible.
Yeah, that is a crucible. We're crossing the crucible.
Yeah. But that being said, Atlantic was a dynamic laboratory for soul music, largely thanks to a few incredible yet very different minds, Ahmet Ertegun and his brother Nisui.
And then you add in the legendary Jerry Wexler, who poked his head in more than one of our architects' deep dives already, and another one of my life's heroes, the absolute incredible wizard behind the mixing board, Tom Dowd.
And
if
you're going to
don't
hear
know
more
who
about him
he is,
later, too.
Yeah. If you don't know who he is, it's worth a look.
Yeah.
I'll mention just a few names in a few genres. You know what? I won't even mention the genre change because you will know it when you hear it, right, Mello?
Yeah, absolutely. Tom Dowd's impact on recording technology and his impact on music production and editing are monumental.
Monumental. And let me just say something here about editing. Editing can make the difference between a hit and a not so big song. If you ask Aretha if she was still here today, she would tell you. Because when Chain of Fools was first done, the first recorded version, the one that was a major hit that you all know, that's not how it started out.
Yeah, plenty of artists have come with their music before the editor.
And the editor hath blessed you if you are lucky.
Yeah.
And Tommy Dowd's ears and his savvy were responsible for it. And remember, we're not saying the genres, just the names.
Well, they'll definitely know when that changes, Max.
All right, here we go. Ray Charles, James Brown, Wilson Pickett, Otis Redding, Booker T and the MGs, Eric Clapton, Derek and the Dominoes, the Allman Brothers Band, Leonard Skinner, Rod Stewart, John Coltrane, Ornette Coleman, and Charlie Mingus. And it's not even close to everything that this dynamo of a team is responsible for.
Oh, yeah, we could do a show, it seems, on each of them.
I think we're going to at this point.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool that we keep doing this and we find these architects in all these positions, Mello. And it's an eye-opening journey, and the gifts of knowledge and path from all of these architects of soul, well, that's just a win-win.
Yeah, I hear that, Max. And it's been a foundational info for us to but
right.
let's get ahead to Atlantic Records.
Yeah, let's get in it.
And begin with Ahmet Ertegun. The defining lesson we take from Ahmet is unwavering artistic conviction and profound cultural understanding.
For the Big Turk.
Yeah, he was deeply steeped in the blues, jazz, and R&B, not just as a businessman, but as a genuine fan and scholar.
He had an amazing ear.
Yeah, he had an almost uncanny ear for authenticity and was willing to take immense risks on artists who didn't necessarily fit the prevailing mainstream mold. He signed seismic talents like Ray Charles.
That's a story.
That's a story.
Itself, right?
Yeah, the story all by itself.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second.
One of my heroes, Max, Ahmet Ertegun, was a Turkish-American immigrant who co-founded Atlantic Records in 1947 with Herb Abramson. And he served as president and was a masterful A&R or artist and repertoire
He was the man.
Yeah, and he discovered and nurtured some of the most influential artists of the 20th century, really.
It's true. Ahmet's ear was a thing of beauty.
It was Ruth Brown, Benny King, Otis, and Aretha Franklin, to name a few. He didn't just hear their voices, he heard their soul before anyone else truly understood its commercial potential.
Oh, that is so right, Mello. Ahmet Ertegun and his brother Nisui were so deeply passionate about jazz and blues. They amassed a huge recording collection, a huge one. This passion fueled by the early direction of Atlantic, fueled the early direction of Atlantic, because it became a premier label for rhythm and blues. Mm-hmm. So Ahmet was known for his personal charm, his ability to connect with musicians. The guy was a trusted figure in the industry, and artists were willing to sign with Atlantic just because of his reputation for honesty and fair royalty payments. And of course, during that time, Berry Gordy and the Machine, right? Not always for primary, black artists or anybody in the R&B field.
That is true, Max. From its inception, Atlantic was dedicated to bridging the cultural gaps between black and white audiences. The label's success with R&B and soul music helped to bring black artists and their sounds to the mainstream.
Yep, the Atlantic sound, and there are iconic signings, which bring me to the story of Ray Charles and the steal of a lifetime for our fledgling label. Mm-hmm. So Ahmet and his team, including Herb and Jerry and Tom, had heard a recording of a young Ray Charles, and they were completely blown away by his unique voice.
I remember seeing that comment from Ahmet. Ray had a blend of blues, gospel, and jazz, and he was that ear.
Yeah, this was a pivotal moment. The anecdote highlights Ertegun's intuitive ear and his willingness to take a chance on an artist's raw talent. How cool is that?
That's really
even when others hadn't seen the full potential, and no one did. Mm-hmm. No one did. So Ahmet Ertegun bought Ray Charles's contract from another label for like $2,500, mm-hmm. and boy, what an investment payoff! Because Ray became one of the label's biggest stars. Atlantic
He
Records,
was.
Ray Charles.
Ray Charles was their first superstar, really.
And they were a fledgling.
They had Ruth Brown before that, but Ray Charles became the first big superstar.
It's awesome.
Yeah, and we'll be covering him very soon. And as we keep peeling back the layers, Atlantic became synonymous with the Atlantic sound, which was a soulfully, emotionally resonant style.
Right, and all of this is such a powerful, enduring lesson for us and all of today's artists. You got to trust your gut and mm-hmm. deeply understand your influences.
Yes, and don't chase fleeting trends or dilute your sound to fit a perceived market. If Ahmet we wouldn't have the incredibly rich and profoundly diverse tapestry. No, we wouldn't have this tapestry of early Atlantic soul.
Yeah, those guys had conviction.
Yeah, and that conviction gave artists the freedom to be truly themselves and experiment and explore their deepest expressions. It's about artistic integrity and first and foremost.
That's right, but first we're going to take a break, and then foremost will help itself on the way back. You're listening to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul, and we'll be right back.
And welcome back to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul. I'm Mello Soul. And Max, so first and foremost,
and damn straight, then you bring in Jerry Wexler. Mm-hmm. And if you don't know the term R&B or rhythm and blues, it was coined by Wexler. Mm-hmm. He was the ultimate producer and A&R man. And that story is a glimpse of the phenomenal impact this guy had on R&B.
Yeah, coining rhythm and blues from Race
There
Records.
you go. Biggest one.
Tremendous leap forward, yeah.
It was, Mello. So set the scene, right? The context is pre-Wexler, right? Which is Race Records, right? 1920s to 1940s. Recordings by Black American artists, primarily for Black American audiences. Man, what is that? This was categorized in the music industry on sales charts as Race Records. What is that?
Yes, and as we all know, that derogatory connotation.
Hell, it was insulting.
Yeah, while initially a marketing term to identify a genre for a specific demographic, the term race records eventually acquired a derogatory and segregationist connotation.
It's true. That's right, Mel. Seen as outdated, highly discriminatory, and a reflection of racial prejudices prevalent in society at the time. Not like that seems to have gone away looking around me today, he says very sadly. But let's talk about Jerry Wexler's role.
Well, before he joined Atlantic Records as a producer, Jerry Wexler was a journalist and editor. He worked at Billboard magazine in the late 1940s, and he looked at the term with extreme discomfort and as the discomfort that it deserves. A poor showing for a free society. Anyway, I digress. Wexler, a passionate fan of Black American music, blues and jazz and gospel and jump blues, as we said, he found this term race records as glaringly offensive.
As we do still to this moment.
And deeply uncomfortable. So he believed it was demeaning to the artists and the music itself, and actively sought a more respectful and accurate descriptor.
So Jerry, being the action-taking man he was, had what we would call a brainstorm. So he began a campaign within Billboard to change the chart's name. And from the information that I found, Jerry likely collaborated with other editors and industry figures to make it happen, but he was the primary driver.
And so here we go, y'all. We found a home.
Right. So true, Mello. The birth of rhythm and blues arrived in 1949. We're home. As Jerry Wexler successfully convinced Billboard to replace race record charts with the new one titled Rhythm and Blues.
Yes, Max. Rhythm represented the strong, danceable backbeats and grooves prevalent in the music, jump blues and early rock and roll.
And that's what it should have been.
Yeah, and blues acknowledged the deep blues roots and the soulful, often emotional lyrical content.
And what an impact that has had, and what an amazing legacy. I mean, immediately this new term went more dignity and respect to the artists and their music. And that's a hard-fought and hard-won battle, even today. And the reason is that it shifted the focus from race as a descriptor to the musical characteristics of the genre.
Thus brought commercial respect of the brand, creating much broader appeal. Rhythm and blues was less exclusionary and helped to pave the way for the music's eventually crossover into mainstream pop charts.
Which sure as hell did.
Yeah, it just sounded more modern and accessible.
And it laid the foundation for this rock and roll we talked about. And we spoke about this in our Chess Record podcast. If you haven't caught it, you should check it out. Anyway, R&B became the direct precursor and foundational element for the explosion of rock and roll in the 50s. Many early rock and roll hits were R&B songs covered by white artists.
Correct. That's right, Max. Sort of like the way the great bluesmen were so influential to the British players, like Jeff Beck and Eric Clapton and Tommy Bolden and Jimmy Page, who made America see what they had in their own backyard.
Exactly. They were right here all the time. And you said a mouthful with that. I think sometimes it's better to have your eyes closed and just listen and don't judge, feel.
Yep, truly. So back to Jerry Wexler and the coining of this enduring term, rhythm and blues.
Great term.
Which I might add became the universally accepted and enduring term for the genre, influencing later developments like soul and funk.
Right, you are, Mello. In essence, Jerry Wexler wasn't just a producer. He was a cultural shaper who understood the power of language, and he actively worked to elevate the status of the music he loved. What a lesson. What we learned from Jerry is the profound power of creating the right environment for genius to flourish and the art of artistic matchmaking. He understood the delicate symbiotic relationship between artist, song, and studio environment, which is a really, really great thing to understand because that's how it all balances out. Right, Mello? He wasn't one to impose his will. That was the good thing about him. He was a master facilitator. Like, he famously took Aretha from jazz pop singer, struggling for direction at Columbia because they wanted her to sound like Dinah Washington, and brought her to the raw, visceral energy of the Muscle Shoals studio. And we all know what happened with that. He knew that specific environment.
Everything.
Yes, that specific environment with those musicians would unlock something absolutely incredible within her. And fuck yeah, it did.
Yes, and that idea of facilitation and of nurturing an artist's essence is so crucial. It's not just about the technical skill of the studio. It's about empathy and deep listening and understanding an artist's core identity.
Holla.
And knowing precisely how to draw the absolute best out of them.
You better believe it.
And we see evidence of this in our podcast as Wex keeps showing up.
Yeah, he's all over the podcast, from Stacks to Muscle Shoals.
Yeah. Atlantic was a monster of a machine back then.
It was.
For modern producers and indeed for artists collaborating today, understanding that creating is a collaborative ecosystem. A delicate
balance, right?
Yes, delicate balance of energies, actually, is far more impactful than just a dictatorial approach. It's about being a catalyst.
And again, getting back full circle to Tom Dowd, the engineering visionary, quote, quote. So many lessons, right? All this that we're talking about. But his lesson in this whole thing is relentless innovation and radical adaptability in service of the sound. I love that. He's my hero. He was so badass. You hear Mello, always in service of the song. Fucking love that. Tom Dowd didn't just record music. Oh, he was a physicist and he worked on the Manhattan Project too, by the way.
Yeah, I knew that. I don't know if our artists do that.
Tom was the shit.
Well, if you don't know, that is the creating of the atom bomb. That guy was a no shit engineer, Max. He talk about blowing stuff up.
Yeah, he was the man.
Yeah, you can imagine what he did for the recorded music technology.
He blew it up real good, right? And he was the shit. He pioneered the very methods of doing so from his early mastery of multi-track recording, which he took beyond the bounds and allowed for unprecedented layering and arrangement, which we talked about in Philly Soul when they got to the 24-track. But he started with an 8-track. To his specific mic techniques that captured the raw emotion of a vocal or the punch of a drum kit. He was great at what he heard. And he constantly pushed those boundaries of technology. And it wasn't for his own sake. That's what I love about this guy. Specifically to capture the true feeling and impact of the music. I mean, he saw the studio and its equipment simply as an extension of the musical instrument themselves.
For us and for our peers navigating some home studios and digital audio workstations or DAWs.
This is America today.
Yeah, Tom's legacy is about never settling for good enough when it comes to sound quality.
No, he was a sonic genius.
Yeah. When it comes to sonic exploration, the tools change from analog tape to like digital plugins.
Right.
But the drive to master those tools and use them creatively and innovatively with the intention to serve the song remains absolutely paramount.
And Tom served the song.
Yeah. And these guys at Atlantic truly set the stage for how soul music was discovered, nurtured, recorded, and delivered to the world.
It's a blueprint.
Yeah, for timeless creation.
Well said, Mello. And in an era dominated by major labels like RCA, Columbia, and Decca, Atlantic Records emerged as a powerful independent force. And it challenged the status quo by focusing on new trends and developing fresh talent. Hey, you're soaking up the wisdom on Max and Mello's Architects of Soul, and we're just getting started on the journey, exploring the brilliant minds that shape the music we love.
And when we come back, we're heading further south to a legendary location.
Get your sunglasses out.
Yeah, a little hit. We've been there before.
Right?
And discussing another vital architect of soul who also had a tremendous impact. So don't go anywhere. We've got a lot more coming.
We'll be right back.
Okay.
Thanks for tuning into Architects of Soul. Our music is waiting for you. Hey, and we're back on Max and Mello's Architects of Soul, diving deep into the DNA of soul music. So before the break, we were talking about the giants at Atlantic Records and their profound influence. Now let's pivot and talk about a pivotal figure. Says you're going to pivot, you might as well be pivotal.
Gotcha.
That pivot is. So we pivot to a pivot. So a figure whose vision, though perhaps less known to some, was absolutely instrumental in shaping a specific and iconic sound. This guy's name was Phil Walden. And the legendary phenomenon, well, we've already visited there and we're going right back. Muscle Shoals.
Yeah, Phil Walden, who famously managed the incomparable Otis Redding and later co-founded Capricorn Records.
Home of the Allman Brothers.
Yeah, he embodied a powerful lesson that resonates deeply with independent artists today. The power of regional artistic cultivation and fierce, almost rebellious independence.
Holla.
Yeah, he saw the immense raw talent bubbling up in places often overlooked by the music hubs.
That's right.
Places like Macon, Georgia, and where Otis was from. And, of course, Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
Muscle Shoals, Alabama.
That's right. He didn't wait for New York or L.A.
No validation needed,
That's
son.
a terrible Southern accent.
It
And
really is.
he created a pathway for his authentic Southern soul to reach the world on his own terms.
And that's such a crucial lesson, Mello. Don't wait for the established industry to come to you. Build your own industry. Mm-hmm. Cultivate your own scene right where you are. Phil understood that truly authentic sound often comes from a specific place, especially, right, a unique cultural melting pot. Mm-hmm. And he fiercely championed that. And for artists today, especially with this global connectivity, right, it's about building your local scene too, fostering a community of creatives, and trusting in the power of your unique regional voice and perspective. And that's about celebrating where you come from, being genuine to the music and genuine to the soul.
That's right, Max. Being genuine to the music and genuine to the soul.
Right. And being genuine to this show, right, we realized we unpacked a lot of stuff, and we think we need a part 2.
Yeah, we're going to split this one in half, folks.
So we're going to take a quick break, come back and wrap up this conversation, and you all are going to have to stick around to the next episode to find out what happens in Muscle Shoals and further on with Atlantic and the Machine. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Max and Mello's Architects of Soul.
Wow, Mello, what a truly incredible, illuminating part 1 journey we've taken today through the minds and sounds of these particular architects of soul. From the sharp business acumen and unwavering artistic conviction of Ahmet Ertegun, to the environment crafting genius of our boy Jerry Wexler, to the sonic innovation of my hero Tom Dowd, and the independent regional spirit of Phil Walden, who we'll cover next time, and we'll roll through Muscle Shoals and take you on up into Atlantic.
Precisely, Max. It's about taking those timeless lessons of the past, the struggles, the triumphs, the brilliant decisions, and
the Sturm and Drang, as it were.
Exactly, and using them all to push us and our peers powerfully forward into creating the vibrant, authentic, and soulful music of tomorrow, always rooted in the undeniable truths of yesterday.
How can you beat that, Mel? Huh?
It's a noble cause, yes.
Right. So we've reached the end of another Max and Mel's Architects of Soul. And as we end this, we always leave you with our maxim for us and today's artists.
And from both of us here at Architects of Soul, we leave you with this simple thought. Keep that soul fire burning, protect your sound, nurture your creativity, own your voice, and remember the lessons from the giants who came before.
And yes, protect your masters and seek out wise mentors who can truly guide you on your journey. And until next we meet, peace and soul, y'all.